Hello, I'm Nancy, and this is summer yoga in the middle of August, the heat of August, which we're escaping by doing this early in the morning. So join us now as we begin to breathe, finding a spot where you can have an alert and relaxed spine. Beginning to bring the attention to the breath. Letting the breath come down through the nostrils and the throat, into the lungs. Allowing the breath to soften and open the body. Lay on an ujjayi breath, contracting the back of the throat and making the sound of an ocean come up through the body and into the head. Clearing the mind. One more ujjayi breath. And then relax the breath down into the heart center, letting lungs and heart gently rise and fall. Letting the heart open to the world around you. The world of summer, just as it is. We feel some loss in summer now, some grief, some fear. And yet we're called to remain open to its beauty, to its delicious products. Mary Oliver in The Summer Day writes, "I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to be idle and blessed." And so we're called on to be idle and blessed and know that part of summer. We'll call on the samana energy now as we breathe from the space around us into the stomach. And as we exhale into the layers of the body, nourishing the body. Inhale from the space around into the center core of the stomach. And exhale to all the tissues of the body. Relaxing down through the intestines. The abdominal wall. Recall the tastes of summer, from plums to corn to radishes. What raises the saliva in your mouth? And letting the samana breath go. Move the tongue in a circle, bringing it to the front of the teeth on the top, and then over to one side and down in the front of the bottom teeth and over to the other side. Circling the tongue around. Tasting the inside of the mouth. And back the other direction. Then bring the tongue back towards the back molars on one side. up across the front and back to the molars on the other side. Arching the tongue around the mouth and the teeth. One of my Zen teachers said, while you're eating quietly, just watch the tongue. It's a whole new world. The tongue is very busy as we eat and as we clean up our mouth. And let that go. Now we're going to do a cooling breath. So bringing the tip of the tongue to the teeth, the lower teeth inside, and widening the lips. Breathing in across the top of the tongue. And exhaling through nose or mouth. Enjoy that coolness across the tongue. This is an ancient yogi breath. One that you might return to today as the heat rises. One more cooling breath. Then stick the tongue out and have a big mouth. Now bring it all in, squinch up the face, stick it out, open up, and go back and forth. And move the jaw all around, back and forth, up and down. And with it, move the face, alive. We'll come to the neck. Bring one hand so that it comes to the opposite side of the head. Let the ear come down towards the shoulders, relax down through shoulders and ear. Inhale the head into the hand, pressing. And then exhale, ear down towards shoulder, relaxing down. Once again, inhale, head into hand, and exhale down. Release, and come to the other side. Inhale, head into hand, and exhale over. Inhale, head into hand. And exhale over. Pause here a moment. Softening through the neck on both sides and shoulders. And inhale back up. Bring hands to cradle the back of the head. Inhale as head presses into hands. And exhale as you gently draw the chin down towards the chest. Pause for a moment at the bottom of the exhale. And we'll do that 2 more times. Release the head back up. Bring the shoulders up to the ears and back, down and around. Opening up through the collarbone, between the shoulder blades. And back the opposite direction 2 times. As we celebrate eating in the summer and the stomach meridian, we'll trace just a bit of the stomach meridian, bringing your fingers right under the eyes, on the cheekbones, right under the eyes, and circling there just lightly with the fingers, then coming down to the corners of the mouth, tracing this part of the stomach meridian, rubbing there, coming down, rubbing across the jaw to the hinges of the jaw, relaxing through the jaw as you rub there a moment. Then coming up in front of the ears, just in front of the mid-ear, where there's a little hollow. Then up along the hairline to the corner of the hairline, turning the fingers gently there. And breathing Stomach open and relaxed, and come down. Remove anything high that's underneath you, and you might like a blanket under your hips. Let's begin with a nice open side bend. Maybe imagining that that arm as it comes up and over is like the big leaf of a squash plant, shading the squash growing underneath. One more time on each side. Feels good to stretch out along the ribs and the arm. Come up through center. Bring one hand to the opposite knee, the other comes around, the body turns just towards the side. An easy twist, beginning to open the spine in a spiral. Come back and forth. And next time you come over, you might reach out and pick something. It might be a little cherry tomato or a blueberry as you turn around. Enjoying the bounty of the season. Now we're going to bring our feet out straight in front of us and bring the hands back behind. They can be on the blanket or on the mat. Press down through the heels of the hands and press out through the heels. Sits bones are firmly coming down. Relax shoulders and shoulder blades down. And lift up through the roof of the mouth and the bottom of the skull in the back. Just breathing here as connective tissue starts to open up along the back lines of the body. Perhaps inviting the breath into the stomach once again, as the breath nourishes the whole digestive system. Then releasing that, bring the knees wide, feet wide, and come into windshield wipers as we open up through the hips. Let one arm join in as its momentum twists the body around. Perhaps imagining yourself a crooked neck squash as you twist around. Just having fun with the season today. One more time on each side. Then coming back through center, bring the soles of the feet together and find the place that's right for you. It might be farther out from the groin or it might be farther in. Hands might be on the ankles or feet or around the toes. Sits bones are grounded firmly, gently pulling down through the lumbar lower spine, and then gently pulling up through the lower belly as the body comes forward. It's a subtle movement, not far forward. Then push down through the inner thighs, even if it's just a centimeter. And inhale back up. And once again, sits bones down, lumbar spine down, lifting up through the lower belly, inner thighs, pressing open. One more time. And this time, if you'd like to bring a C curve to the spine to open up the spaces between the spine, feel free. Straightening back up. We'll remove anything that's under us and come down into a lying position. Let's take a nice big long summer stretch. Imagining ourselves lying in the grass, idle as in the days of our youth, and maybe the days now. And bringing hands around, raise one leg. The heel goes up towards the ceiling. Pause there for a moment. Knee can be quite bent, depending on hamstrings and calf muscles. Just gently opening the back of that leg. Turn the toes towards the shoulder slightly, and perhaps bring the leg just a bit forward towards the chest. Then giving the leg support, open it. It's the right leg out to the right, to the same side, and the other arm comes out from the shoulder. Opposite hip comes down towards the mat. Feel the opening through the intestinal area. Inhale, leg back up, and come over the midline, just a bit. Perhaps giving some caress to the side of the thigh, opening up the IT band. And coming back up. Give the knee a hug. Press down through the left heel, the opposite heel. So the knee is up towards, hugging to the chest, and long length between that knee and the heel down below, the opposite leg. Release that leg, bring the other leg up, heel towards ceiling. Turn the toes a bit closer, hugging that leg in. Open the leg to the same side. Arm extends out. Feel yourself open and soft and relaxed under the sun as it is right now, gentle enough for our bodies. Then inhaling that leg back up over the midline. Even perhaps turning the sole towards the opposite wall. Bring the leg back up and give it a hug. Long length between the knee and the opposite heel. Relaxing down through the throat, the jaw. Then bring both knees up and bring the knees towards the armpits. Let's circle the knees in opposite directions. Opening the hips a little bit more. And round the opposite direction. Then knees come bent over the hips. Hands come back to cradle the skull. Draw in through pelvic floor, press down with the muscles underneath the navel, and one leg goes out straight and one comes up to the chest in leg extensions. If you feel the lower back popping up, raise the feet a bit, gradually toning the abdominal muscles. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch the legs out straight below you with arms out from the shoulders to the side. Bring the right leg straight up, then let it fall across to the opposite side to 3 o'clock, down to 6 o'clock, out to 9 o'clock, and up. And keep going round about 3 more times, but at your own rate. Always modify in any way you would like, or sit out a pose, or take a child's pose, or even do something different. We're on Zoom. We are free. And this is summer, so we can do what we want. And bring the leg down. And bring the other leg up. It crosses over to 9, down to 6, and over to 3. Enjoying that opening through the glute and the hip. One more time round. Now bring both legs up straight. Oh wait, I forgot. Bring the feet down below the buttocks. Bring the hips over to the left just a bit. Then bring the legs straight up. And let the legs fall down to the right for a straight-legged twist. Press the right shoulder and right hand down a bit so that you can increase the twist. And then the other arm, the left arm, might turn around in arm revolutions several times in one direction and then the other. Opening up through the shoulder. Bend the knees and roll back up. Feet come down. Bring the hips over towards the left a bit. Raise the legs up to 90 degrees straight and let them fall over to the left. Press down through shoulder and hand. Hips are more or less stacked and the other arm can revolve. Around the other direction. Then bending the knees and coming up. Let's take one more stretch. Enjoying this time of just right air between the coolness of night and the blistering heat that we will have today. And we'll roll over and come up into tabletop. Hands are directly under shoulders, weight in the heel of the hand and the balls of the hand, fingers wide, and knees directly under the shoulder, the hips. This time, lead with the hips. So raise the hips, then let the heart slide forward. Then let the hips and pelvis slide down and raise up through the arched back. So leading with the pelvic area. Opening up through the front line of the body. Good support through hands, up through shoulders. A little weight in the mounds of the thumbs and broad through the collarbone. And one more arch up in the back. And then we'll come back to neutral. Make sure that your weight is directly left shoulder over left hand. Bring the right arm straight out and the left leg straight out. Stretch out between fingers and toes, then bring them together. Knee to fist under the belly and back out. 2 more times. And come down. Weight of the shoulder over the right hand. Stretching out through left arm and right leg and bringing them in. Stay strong through the belly here, well balanced. And let this be the last one and bring it down. Swivel on the knees as the shins and feet come over to the right. Weight comes into the right hand and the left leg stretches out. Left arm reaches up, opening up through the front side of the body. The top hand and stretched out foot might come back a little farther to allow more stretch across the hip flexor. Opening up the body. Then gaze comes down and hand comes down. Swivel the feet over in the opposite direction and open up on that side. Extending hand and foot back a bit. One last inhale, gaze comes down and hand comes down. Weight into the left hand, reach out once again with the right arm and left leg. One time in and out and down. Swivel feet over to the right, come back into the mandala, opening up, perhaps opening up just a little farther this time, like a sunflower. And Gaze down and hand down. Weight into the left hand as the right arm and left leg reach out. And then coming down, swiveling the shins over to the left and opening up on this side. Gaze down, hands down. Let's come down into what we usually call a child's pose, and I'm going to call watermelon this time. So we often call this a rabbit, but bringing hands back along the sides or even onto the feet, and the forehead or the top of the head coming down onto the mat, curling up like a watermelon in the field. Delicious and juicy inside, just waiting for the right mouth to eat it. Then we'll slide forward, hands slide forward, bring the weight of the shoulders down onto the hands, lift from hands up through shoulders, strong as you open up through the body, and then come back into watermelon. Stretch out once again, like the shape of the rind of a piece of watermelon that you've eaten. One more time, back and forth. And then we'll make our way down into Sphinx. So forearms are under shoulders and fingers are wide. Anchor down through the hips, along the legs and the front of the feet. Bring your attention to the base of the neck. Let the spine relax down away from the neck. Shoulder blades just resting against the rib cage. And lift a bit from the base of the neck up through the cervical vertebrae to the base of the skull, rising through the roof of the mouth just a bit. And coming back to that breath. Run arms out in front of you. So arms are straight out in front of you and legs are straight out in back. So you're long, like a carrot perhaps, or a piece of celery. Long with belly to the earth. Now we'll lift the right arm and the right leg slightly and bring them down. Then the other side, left arm and left leg up and down. The face can remain towards the mat. Do that a few more times. Then we'll switch so that the opposite arm and leg rise and lie down, and opposite on the other side. 2 more times on each side. Now bring the arms around to a cactus so that your elbows are bent at 90 degrees. Chin rests down, or perhaps you will rest on a cheek. Let one leg come out in a frog leg. So the knee is at 90 degrees out to the side. The other leg is still straight down. So one leg extended and one leg bent out like a frog leg. Just lying the cheek down. Enjoying the easy twist in the neck through the hip. Bring the leg in and make a frog leg on the other side, turning the face towards that direction. Bring everything back in. Raise up so that the right forearm is horizontal under the shoulders. So right arm horizontal under the shoulders, left leg bends, and left hand comes back to get some clothing or a bit of the leg, or maybe it just bends and stays there. If you can, take any part of that leg or foot and bring the heel towards the buttocks. Relaxing down through the tops of the hips, through the glutes, the front of thigh and back of thigh. Then push that leg or foot back into the hand, opening up just a bit through the front of the body. And lay it back down. We'll do that on the other side. So left forearm is horizontal under the shoulders. Bend the right leg, right hand comes back. And if possible, brings the heel back towards the glute. If you can't do this, which I've met some people who have a hard time with this, go over on your side and give yourself a quad stretch. So that's also possible here. Relaxing down through the knee and the foot. Then pressing foot or leg back into the hand and opening up through the side of the body. And bring it down. Now the torso comes down, knees bend, hands come back along the sides, palms in, and you might stay just like this. If you can get any part of clothes or legs or hands on the feet, press into the hands, open up through the chest, through the quads, through the waist. Gaze remains low for 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. That builds a little heat. Pushing up through the hands, under the shoulders, we're going to come up into downward dog. Let the knees be very soft here. Hands are widespread, feeling the weight in the balls as well as the heels of the hands. Stretch back through the sides, through the spine. Then paddle the legs, opening up through the legs just a little bit more. Now, different than usual, we're going to come down onto our knees. And one hand is going to come back behind the sacrum and the other arm reaches up in a camel. Then we'll come back into downward dog, reaching back through the hips, maybe straightening the legs just a little bit more than they were. Then coming back down onto knees. Other hand will come back behind the sacrum and the other arm will lift up, stretch up through the open belly, the heart reaching up towards the ceiling. Hands slide back to the front of the mat, up into downward dog, stretch back, open through the top of the back as shoulder blades come out towards the sides of the body. Knees come down once again, back into camel, onto your knees. Both hands come to the back of the sacrum, elbows coming towards each other. Lift up through the mid-sternum, the base of the neck, tucking in, and the spine relaxing down from the base of the neck. And we'll come back once again into downward dog. Hips come back towards the wall behind you. Bring the left foot underneath the hips and raise the right leg up. Press into hands and foot, raise just a little bit more, and it doesn't matter how far up that leg is. Then bending the knee in, bring it in between the hands. And if you need to, come down onto your knees and then bring your foot forward, that's fine. Making your way into a knee down lunge. Finding your balance here as you feel the thighs scissoring together so that your hips are aligned with the front of the mat. We're going to do a Kapalabhati breath here, which is an energizing breath. Bring your hands, your fingers to your solar plexus between your lower ribs. Bring your attention to the end of your nose. This is a sharp exhale and a passive inhale. Sharp exhale, passive inhale. Two more times. Now bring the arms up. And then as you bring them down with loose fists up, elbows come back behind the body. We're going to do this 3 times with a sharp exhale. Now come forward, palms down, same, coming back, the sharp exhale, forward, back. And we'll continue 3 times from the top down, 3 times from forward in. One more time. And bring the hands down behind around the foot. Then we'll come back up into downward dog. Stretch up. Right foot comes under the hips, left foot rises to whatever height. And then we're going to bend the knee. You might come down onto your knees, somehow making your way into knee down lunge on the other side. Aligning the hips, pulling back with through the front thigh and down through the thigh, going down towards the mat. Lift arms, and for 3, forward, and up, forward, last time, and bring it down. We're going to come up to a standing position. Have to get our heat up a little bit while we still can on this hot day. Bring the feet a little wider than hip width apart. Inhale, arms up, and exhale forward. So hands come about 1 foot or 1.5 feet in front of the feet. So you're a 4-legged creature here. Weight into hands and feet. Breathing here for a moment. Then bending the knees a bit, bring the hands back to the shins. Elongate through the spine. A few breaths here. Then soften knees and hips, come up. And imagine you're picking blackberries, as we are around Corvallis these days, trying to get that delicious blackberry, the most soft, the warmest, and bringing them into your mouth. It's a real joy of our season. Reach out as far as you can. They might be high up. And we'll come back to more serious yoga. Inhale once again, arms up. Now bring hands to opposite elbows. Knees and hips are soft. And allow your body to come down, relaxing down through the vertebrae, and the lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck. Relax down. Letting this gentle heat of this time of the day melt you. Then as you inhale, we're going to roll up very slowly. So letting the arms dangle down, strong through the belly, slowly rolling up. And arms come up. Bring one arm down, bring the weight into 1 foot and reach up with that arm that is over the weighted foot. So you have a foundational leg here. Reach up as far as you can and then come over into a side bend. Elbow, wrist, and fingers loose. Come back out of that side. Weight goes into the other foot. Arm on that side reaches up. And then loose arm, loose fingers like grapes hanging down from the vines. Lift up. We'll do that one more time on each side. Weight on one side, reaching up on that side. Grapes dangling down. And come back up. Now we're going to come down into an up plank. So coming down onto the mat, feet are wide and hands are back behind. Fingers can be pointing back. Any direction is fine, but that might be the best. Inhale as the hips rise up and swing back towards the arms, back and forth. Then coming back and letting the hips come up, perhaps you can keep swinging or you can bring the hips up. Bring the weight into the mounds of the thumbs, open through the collarbone, good support through the shoulder girdle, strong through the glutes. For 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Legs extend out in front. Reach arms forward, fingers coming straight towards the horizon and chest going towards the horizon for a stretch. Then coming back, rising up with the hips into up plank. Coming back, extending legs, reaching forward, soft in the knees. One more time. And as we come back up, we're going to come in to Janushirshasana. So you have one leg bent and one leg out diagonally. And if that's hard on this leg, both legs can be out or it can be less bent. Find the right place for you. Bear down through the sits bones so that you're nice and straight up through the torso to begin. Then turning the body towards the bent leg, run the hand down the extended leg to wherever it lands, shin or ankle or bottom of the foot, and bring the other arm up and over. Gaze is towards the side, and come up and back a few times, feeling that stretch perhaps through the waist and the hip area. Now, as you come over this time, hold it for a moment and bring the bottom arm over to the thigh or shin or something on that other leg so that you're getting a bit of a twist here and the chest is opening a little bit farther up towards the juncture of ceiling and wall. Then rising up, bring that top hand down to the earth and the other hand comes up in a kind of arabesque. And the elbow and back might bend a bit as you come over. Hand comes to that thigh once again and increase the twist around a bit. Breathing all the way down through the abdomen. Nourishment to the stomach and the intestines. We'll now bring the body round so it's facing the extended leg. Run the hands down over soft knee, bringing chest down towards the toes. Coming back up. Coming forward a bit. Up once again. And this time coming down as far as you'd like, perhaps bringing a C shape to the spine. Giving room for that hip bone to come back into the body a bit. Breathing through the lower ribs. And inhale back up. Switch legs, finding whatever position works for you on this side. Turn the body towards the bent leg. Run the hand down the leg to the point that works for you. Other arm comes up and over, and you make a window to look through, stretching through the side of the body, going back and forth a few times. And then holding here as the lower hand comes over to the opposite leg, opening up the chest a bit towards the horizon. Then top arm comes up and over and back behind for support on the floor. And the other arm comes up over in a arched arabesque, a little bit of bend in the elbow in the back. Then coming back up onto the thigh and enjoying that twist a bit. Breathing into the whole body. Then turning the body so that the chest is going towards the extended toes. Inhale, hands rub down over the soft knee. Chest comes towards the toes or towards the horizon. This might be a slight movement. Where do you feel this stretch? A bit of support in the lower belly to support that stretch through the lower back. And the next time, coming down to whatever position feels good for you. Supporting through the belly. Idling in the grasses. Inhale, back up. And we're going to come up to a standing position. Our time has gone quickly. We're going to start this flow with a pyramid. So bringing feet one in front of the other on narrow railroad tracks, toes forward. Hands come back behind. Hands clasped just below the buttocks with the palms facing up. Stand here for a moment, pressing down through both feet and lifting up through the roof of the mouth, base of the neck to the bottom of the skull, but relax down through the spine. Long through the torso as you come forward. Hands can remain just as they are. A little bend in the front knee for relief as you need it. And come back up. We'll come over 2 more times. Coming over just as much as works for you. Torso can be parallel. And then on the 3rd time over, you might come down a little farther, bringing the belly down towards the front of the thigh. And rise back up, keeping some weight in that back foot. Now hands come to the waist and back foot backs up just a little bit and turns out to 30 degrees. We're coming into warrior 1. The front knee is bent. Turn the hips to come towards aligned with the front of the mat. Drawing back through the front thigh and down through the extended thigh in the back. And just find your place here. If turning those toes in the back helps you, that's fine. Open the palms behind the hips, squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening through collarbone and heart. Breathing the blessings of the season into the stomach. And giving them out to all the tissues of the body. Then bring hands to the hips. Press down a bit, rising up through the torso. Relax through the throat as the gaze rises before you're doing anything with the hands. And extending from the base of the neck up through the hollow of the skull, relaxing down through the spine below the base of the neck. Then lifting through the mid-sternum, already starting to come into this back bend, then arching the arms up and reaching. So the body's already coming into warrior 1 before the hands reach up. Supplicating perhaps in that prayer that we don't really know how to make. And coming back down. We'll do that one more time, hands on hips. up through torso, relax through throat, tuck the base of the neck, begin to rise through the mid-sternum and bring the arms up. And come down. Now bring the feet together. Shake out that front leg just a bit. We're going to come down into that front leg as we do a bow, a quad stretch. So bringing a good focal point, energy down through the foundational foot, up through the body, catch the foot or whatever one can catch on that side. Breathing into that balance. Perhaps the other arm reaches up. Imagine that there is a flower between the fingers of this top arm. Take a smell of that beautiful summer flower. Then if you would like, pushing the foot into the hand, reaching out with that flower, keeping the eyes towards the horizon, coming over just as much as it's right for you. And bringing it back in. And come down. Now the left foot is going to come out. Toes are all straight and knees are straight. Hands come back behind, clasping behind the buttocks and reaching down. Feel that length between the hands reaching down and the base of the neck, the roof of the mouth reaching up. Inhale and exhale over. A little bit of soft knee, torso parallel or going in that direction. Inhale back up. Exhale over. Inhale up. And exhale over just as far as you would like. And soft in the knee, come up. Bring the hands to the hips. Turn the foot out as much as you would like in the back. And the feet come a little farther apart. Front knee is bent. Pulling back through the front groin and stretching out in the back groin. Hands come back behind the body, open. Opening up through the heart, through the stomach. Open to the world. Bring the hands back to the hips, pressing down, lifting up through the torso, tucking the nape of the neck, relax through the throat as the gaze rises, then the mid-sternum rises and arms finally arch up. Release back down. Once again, hands to hips, lifting up through the torso, lifting the gaze, relaxing through throat and spine, lifting through the mid-sternum, and lifting up with the arms. One more breath here. And bring the arms down. Bring the feet together. Shake out that leg. Let it become the foundational leg. Weight into that foot. Hands on hips, good focal point, energy up through the body, coming into a quad stretch, whatever your version of that is. Reaching up through the other arm. Smell the flower. Offer the flower out. Gaze towards the horizon, knee coming out towards the back, pressing the foot into the hand. One more inhale. And bring it in. Good effort. That's our work for today. Let's come down into a lying position. And once again, idling and blessed here in the grass. Take a long stretch through one side of the body, lifting up with a hand on the wrist. And then the other side. Bend the knees and bring them up towards the armpits, coming into happy baby with hands on the bottom of the feet. And whatever feels good here, holding it or rolling back and forth or kicking up. What does the body ask of you here? Extend the legs down, come into a lying twist. Arms are out to the sides. Bring the right sole of the foot up by the left thigh. Hips go over to the right a bit, and the right foot comes up on the left thigh. Left hand draws the right knee across. Left leg becoming an axis. And gaze might turn to the opposite direction. Relax down, everything you can. Relax and unwind. Extend the right leg out and bring the left foot up. Bring the hips over to the left foot on right thigh, and bringing that knee gently over, falling down into the grass. Release the twist and come into whatever is a completely relaxed position for you. Relax through the jaw, the shoulders, hips. Imagine yourself, your favorite fruit, juicy, contained in your skin, completely connected to the air and the sun, the earth, the water. Soften through the bottom of the feet and the toes. Feel the relaxation coming up through the calves, the backs of the knees, the hamstrings, the glutes. Soft through intestines and stomach, heart and lungs, easy at rest. Relax through collarbone, up through throat and jaw. Soft tongue all the way down through its root. Cheeks, eyes, forehead. Crown of the head open. Back of the skull heavy against the earth. Soft neck, shoulders. The tops of the arms, elbows, forearms and wrists. Palms open to whatever summer brings us. Lengthen the breathing and bring some movement to fingers and toes. Roll ankles and wrists if you like. Give the knees a hug. Be here in the grass. working for coolness enduring the heat. And then rolling over, we'll come to a brief sitting position. May we be healthy. May we be free of fear. May we open our taste buds to summer. And may we love this world and work to cool it. Namaste. Great to be with you on this summer day. I suspect I will do this again next week, as it seems to be possible.
Thanks,
So
Nancy.
perhaps I'll see you then. Yeah.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Hey, Michelle.
Thank you, Nancy.
Bye. Paula.
Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Bye, Julia. Bye, Monica. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Gulia. Gulia, are you feeling okay? Yes, you are. I'm so glad. Are you strong now? So. Good. I'm so glad you got better. Yeah. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.